Welcome to another episode of Live With It. I am Sarah Lane, and this is the show where the DTNS family of folks talks about a product, a service, anything that we have been hanging out with over a long enough period of time where we feel like we have a solid, honest feel about living with it. The good, the bad, sometimes the ugly, and we share our thoughts with you. Joining me today is Eileen Rivera. Hi, Eileen.
Hello. How are you, Sarah?
Doing
Good
well.
to see you.
Doing well. It's good to see you too. It's been a while.
Been a minute, yeah.
Although, we follow each other on Instagram, so I feel like I know what you're doing every single day. But all right. So what have you been living with over the last 3 months?
Well, Sarah, because I'm part of the Apple upgrade program, I have been living with the iPhone 17 Pro Max in blue. Blue is the color that I really wanted. And the story about this is the fact that I owned the 16 Pro originally, and I was just really wanting to get the 17 Pro. And somehow in my blurry state of mind, I think it was in the middle of the night when I ordered it, I got the Pro Max instead, which is much bigger than the Pro is. And I don't like big phones so much, but this was I think 2 weeks after the phone was released. I didn't even, get up at 5 a.m. to do the, I want it next day kind of thing, or, the day that it releases. I waited. And then I thought, okay, I think this is a good time. I think I could go get one. And then I went to the Apple store, picked it up. Even then, until I got home and I
because the box just didn't give it away.
The box didn't give it away. They just gave me a bag, and I was just like, da-da-da, da-da-da. And I finally, the first thing I pulled out, not even my phone, I pulled out the case that I bought, and I said, why is this? What? Oh, I got
Why
the wrong
is it so
case.
big?
I have the wrong case. Oh no. And then I'm like, oh my God, how in the world did I not know? I was even at the store. I picked it up and I didn't even realize that I had ordered the wrong phone. So then I called Apple and I said, oh, is it easy for me to trade, anywhere in California? No. At the time, there was no blue iPhone 17 Pro anywhere. And they were like, well, you can get an orange. I said, no, you can get a white. And it was 256 gigs. I'm like, no, it's not enough. There was just so many reasons why I couldn't get a different color even.
Yeah.
And so I just said, you know what? I'm the kind of person that hates dealing with mail and returning things and doing that. And I thought, you know what? Maybe I should try and live with this phone and see, if I really, really can't stand this phone as compared to
the larger
the
form
Pro.
factor.
Yeah.
Why did you want the blue color so badly?
I just didn't like I thought the white was boring, and I also didn't like the orange. Yeah. So then I thought, well, I'm going to get a case anyway. And, I went ahead and matched the case to, have a blue. But, I have 3 different cases now. I've been trying out different cases, and they're all, they're all fun. The problem is with this, though, when you add this case in particular, this Casetify case, it makes the weight even heavier. This is a heavier phone than I'm used to. And I, in the process of trying to get to learn how to use it, I mean, there are times, I do a lot of video recording. I'm trying to do it with one hand, Sarah. And because it's so big, sometimes my hands start shaking because it's so much heavier than my other phone. So, I have other cases to kind of this is a lighter case here from ESR. Anyway, I'm finding that my problems with it aren't so bad after all, is where I'm going with this. So it is heavier. I can't type sometimes. With just one thumb.
I'm a caseless person, Mm-hmm. We just go commando in the Lane household. And the 17 Pro Max is slightly bigger than the 15 Pro Max, which is what I'm still
you have the
rocking.
Pro Max. Okay.
Yeah. But to me, because I've always wanted the biggest phone, I don't really know why. I just, whenever anybody says the phone is too big, I don't like it because it's too big. I'm like, why? So let's talk about the reasons why you wanted a smaller phone in the first place.
Well, I'm just used to the form factor, right? I'm used to it fitting, I'm used to it
Fitting
being
in a
lighter,
pocket or a
fitting in
purse.
my pocket, that because now when I put it in my pocket, it kind of like it juts out. You could see it. And I'm like, oh, I'm worried that it's going to fall out, if I'm not paying attention. But to be honest with you, it was because I thought I was used to that form factor and I don't need it any bigger for any other reason. I don't need a bigger screen to see something, to watch something bigger. But turns out it's actually kind of nice to have a bigger screen to watch videos, and to edit, because I use my phone all the time to edit. So I could see even clearer now when I edit. So I feel like the reasons why I wanted the same, it was just really for weight and size. And, in terms of performance, it's fast. The battery, of course, whenever you get a new phone, it lasts all day. Like, this is great in terms of battery. What I also like, as someone that records video a lot and uses the front camera, Sarah, like there's this mode here where you could do dual capture. So basically you could have your face up here and then you could see what your back camera is recording. So you can kind of have like a reaction, like a live reaction, especially if you're like a vlogger.
The TikTokers would love this.
Yeah. So I feel like content creators will get a lot out of that. But then there's also so I'm doing a selfie, right? Mm-hmm. And you can do... you can go straight to horizontal. When you're with friends, I can't fit everybody, but all you have to do is tap that button. Everybody can fit while you're using your front camera.
So going back to the 17 Pro Max, sounds like you're into the camera. Some options for somebody who's on the go a lot with video. Sounds great. Battery life sounds pretty good. Is there anything that has disappointed you?
It's more about, again, the weight of it is a little heavier than I,
Would like.
Yeah. And, like I said, my hands shake sometimes when I if I'm doing something. I remember I was like trying to get something and all of a sudden it was just shake. I'm like, oh God, I have to hold it together. And I didn't have a selfie stick or anything like that on me. I just carry my phone with me, but I don't think so. It's pretty much, to me, I don't know that it's, we've talked about this in the past where it's like, it's an incremental upgrade to the one from last year. I think this is a little bit more of an upgrade, but not that much more. I feel like if you have a 16, I feel comfortable, if I wasn't in the Apple program, I would have felt comfortable keeping my 16 Pro that I had.
Right.
Because it can, and I think it does, the camera stuff, I think some of that stuff you can do on the 16 Pro that I showed you now with like a software update. But I don't see anything that has been so monumentally different for me upgrading to this phone, meaning performance wise, or, like there's certain apps or whatever. It's nice to have the dual camera thing, but did I need it? No, I just like, I like having that option and more options to record.
Totally.
So, I actually like the color line of the 16 Pro a little bit better than, I loved my desert titanium. I kind of miss it now. I think it's a good phone. And if you are like at a 12 or a 13, which I know some people have held on, like this, it might be time to like upgrade. And then I would definitely choose the 17 over the 16 because why, then you'll have the 17 for so much longer, if you're the type of person that doesn't upgrade, even every 2 years, you'll have a good, really advanced phone for much longer. So, and
for, anybody who follows kind of, just the financials of all of this, Apple has had a lot of success with the 17 line of phones. The iPhone Air, not so much. I guess if it's too light, then people don't want it because they want a more robust phone, right? Yeah. So it does seem like the 17 is a hit. We'll know more about that when Apple's latest earnings report comes out. But for me, rocking the 15 Pro Max, which was a hand-me-down from our friend Lamar Wilson. And so shout out to you, Lamar, because I wouldn't have gotten it otherwise. I probably would have still had the 13 because I just didn't have a great reason to upgrade. I was like, yeah, I mean, it would be better to have some, fancy camera features. But like you said, I don't use I use some of it and it comes in handy, but I'm not, a professional photographer. And so it's like these are fun areas where you can get creative, which is great, but it's not totally necessary day to day for most people. Some people it is necessary, not for most people.
So I think I am wrong. I think some of the stuff that I showed you, those features are not available on the 16 Pro. So
so that's one more reason to get the 17.
Yeah.
This also starts at $1,200. That is pricey.
It's pricey.
It's a high price point. Apple is notoriously very pricey with its phones, although it is not the only company that has really pricey phones. Eileen, knowing that you have spent some time, in the Android universe and, now using an iPhone pretty much all day, every day, what would you say would be the biggest comparison?
Well, I haven't used like a Pixel or even a new, like the Samsung. I have the Flip, the Flip 5, which is quite old now.
Getting a little long in the tooth.
It's kind of old, so I don't even know if I know all the comparisons, I feel like phones are all starting to kind of, to be honest with you, blend. I feel like even Android has stepped up and, it doesn't feel as... feel too different than owning, the software isn't so different than owning an iPhone anymore. So it's really all about the ecosystem, like where you live. And I live, in iOS. So that's where a lot of my stuff, yes, I have Google Gmail and I could easily live in, an Android world too. But in terms of like, messages, like the messages thing, and I feel like it's so personal, but it's not going to be difficult, I think, to switch from one or the other. It's really, maybe it's because of your family. Everybody's on iOS or everybody's on Android. Maybe that's the reason. It's no longer, I think, oh, it's so different. Like it's much more for technical people, to use an Android. So,
well, somebody asked me the other day, because, I was like the tech person, in the room, like, what do you think of the new Pixels? And I was like, well, I don't have one, but they're very nice phones. This is we are no longer talking about like, upper echelon and then kind of crappy Android phones. We are way past that.
Yeah. So I only hear good things about the Pixel, and I'm curious, but I feel like most people just, they need a strong phone to do basic things, right? Email, texting, browsing the internet, there's some apps that you might want to use, from time to time. All those apps are on both ecosystems. I don't know one that like I really... If there's one iOS app that is like only iOS, I bet there's an alternative that's pretty similar, on the Android phone.
And even when that happens, it's either one is first or the other is first.
Yeah.
If anybody's taking it seriously, the platform will then embrace both.
Yeah, exactly. So I like, the iOS system. I'm going to stay in it, but I still have like, this old Android phone because I like, keeping up to date on
it's always good to have a backup anyway.
Yeah.
And just kind of see how they go. All right. So as we wrap this up, it sounds like overall you're pretty happy with the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Do you think that the price point is worth it?
I think the price is steep. So everything is getting higher these days. I mean, I like I said, I'm on the upgrade program. My monthly bill went up a little bit, just slightly because this is a more expensive phone. I didn't like that. So, but I'm committed, to having this, to being a part of the program, and also committed to just kind of exploring, okay, what is the next version of this phone? I'm able to do that. But if you're not, I don't think you need to upgrade. I think you're fine, especially if you have like a 15 or 16. Now, anything below that, I would probably let's look to see. Maybe
look into some specs. Yeah,
and look into some specs. Maybe it's time.
See where you're gonna get. Well, Eileen, you mentioned taking lots of video. Where can people see some of the stuff that you're putting out every day?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Face of E or TikTok of Face of E. So I do a lot of more either K-pop or K-beauty or K-drama, talk. But that's where you could find me, and some pictures of my dog, 7, as well, going to the beach.
That is Face of the letter E.
Yes.
And yeah, Eileen she's quite popular on the internet, and so is her dog, who I have still not met in person, but we're going to have a meet cute one of these days.
We had to have a play date, yeah. Seven loves all dogs, so he would probably love to meet your guy.
Yeah, we'll do that. Well, Eileen Rivera, thank you so much for being with us on this episode of Live With It. If you have comments or suggestions for future Live With It episodes, we would love to hear from you. Send them on into feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. If you enjoy Live With It, also tell a friend, tell a family member, tell a coworker. I don't know, maybe you'll be hanging out with all of them over the holidays or none of them, but consider supporting us on Patreon. That is how we keep the show alive. Check out patreon.com/DTNS to learn more. Until next time, I'm Sarah Lane, and you've been watching Live With It.